your computer was a couple cups, a couple strings,
a couple gerbils.
That was interweb for you. Those interwebs.
Hey, you know, I live in Kentucky, man. I'm just lucky to have a computer.
Computer.
Are you guys ready?
Computer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up to the intro, and then Jason will kick us off.
All right.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Hell yes, I get to ride the dragon.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
I know Kung Fu.
Tank, you want to switch? You want to switch?
No, I'm good. I got it.
Stay down.
I could do this all day.
If you had to transform into one mythical creature and then get married to a different mythical creature.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Maximum effort.
How about a magic trick?
HR.
Not an animal.
HR. Is HR.
Somebody call HR down here.
That man is playing
Are
Gallagher.
we live now?
No.
Okay.
The intro is going still. Where?
There now.
Oh, we're live now.
Now we're live.
Son of a bitch. We need some kind of signal to let you know. Welcome to the Nerds from Work, your weekly escape into the world of geeks, nerds, and big-ass motherfuckers that visit us from time to time, trying to pass off Michelob Ultra, not you, Tank.
Oh shit! Sorry, I thought you were talking about me. My bad.
All right. So before we get this week started, actually our guest, we have Travis, the Blazing Defender Report. So do you want to cheers us and then we all crack them on the count of 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Head nods don't work for iTunes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, motherfucker. I'm
Hey,
affiliated.
it picks things up. It puts them down. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, this isn't a twist top. I'll be right back.
There you go. Tank failed.
What's up, guys? Shit like this happens live.
This is what happens. Tank comes unprepared to everything. That's why Tank has
Damn it, Tank.
I've got a third kid on the way. So what does that say about me?
What? You got a third kid?
On the way. Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Well, thank you. We had a baby scare literally like 10 minutes before this show. So
Are you serious?
yeah, we didn't
That
know
would've
if
been
the water
awesome.
broke or what. We're just like I was so calm and collected right up to that point. Like I was like, no, it's cool. It's cool. And she's like, Jason, I think my water broke. I was like, oh shit! Pack the bags, oh shit! Get everything ready! Wow!
That's awesome, man. D-Bones in the house. What's up, brother?
So, welcome to the Nerds from Work. This week, I've got with me Josh Tankersley
What's going on?
and wait, I'm sorry. How did we get this homeless man into Travis's house? You look about homeless as shit.
That's
I look homeless.
that's who he paid to build his computer.
A homeless man?
Yeah.
Did you donate your old computer to a homeless man?
Dude, that would have been great. I'd have took that
Fucking
motherfucker.
homeless porn.
Homeless porn.
I mean,
Yeah,
what do people use computers for nowadays?
Porn.
Shit. Porn.
That's what they use it for. Like, okay, seriously though, if you guys are still out there and using computers for porn, like, seriously? Like,
Yeah, that's weird.
how are you moving that around?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a weird one.
That's what this is.
Magazine's
I have
like
this.
person.
Why do you think I have my own office in the basement where no one can hear me?
Ah, smart.
Tank's got surround sound set up.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, what have you guys been up to this week, Tank?
Man, this week, the reason I had to go run is because I played D&D on Saturday and my players drank all my beer. So I was like, oh shit, I have one left, and then I forgot that it wasn't a twist top because I'm a slacker. So D&D, which is always fun.
Nice.
And then I had a buddy. I was at a buddy's house yesterday who introduced me to Leinenkugel Summer Shanty. Delicious.
Very nice.
Google. You literally Google.
I had never I've always heard shitty things about Leinenkugel in general. Summer Shanty is delicious. But anyways, so I was over there hanging out, and he put me back on the Skyrim. which I've tried playing it a few times. For whatever reason, can never get into it. He's like, no, do it this other way. Because I'm a mage. I'm always a magic player in these kinds of games. And I couldn't quite get it figured out with Skyrim, with that like click and swing, play style.
Right.
But he's like, no, like do this. You can dual cast and do this. And so I did a little bit of research. Like, okay, so I'm giving Skyrim another shot. I started it today. And so, so Skyrim and D&D, which is essentially the same thing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's a video game version of the same thing.
Right. So, and which is fitting, because I also wore my D&D shirt, and we're talking D&D tonight. So,
true life.
I'm ready to go.
Travis is wearing his Blazing Defender report. Did you do something Blazing Defender this week? Not tribal tats. Not tribal tats.
No, I did not do Blazing Defender. Yeah, let's see, what is today? Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
No, it'll be Friday.
No, it's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday?
It's releasing on Friday, but today is Tuesday. Yes.
Definitely and I agreed with him. I was like,
today is Tuesday.
I was like, yeah, today's Wednesday. Totally, I agreed with him 100%.
Let me explain something for the nerds, or the Nerds from Work podcast fans. I work 24 hours off 48. Every day's fucking Friday. I never know what fucking day it is because I really don't give a fuck what day it is. So when I say, is it Tuesday? And people go, no, it's Tuesday, it's Monday, it's Friday. I don't care. So
you didn't ask if it was Tuesday. You asked if it was Wednesday.
I did. And again,
I just want to clarify that.
The only reason that I care what day of the week it is because Wednesday, new comics come out. So on Wednesday, I read my comics, and then usually by Friday, I have a show up. But I've not read anything today because obviously it's Tuesday and they haven't come out yet. And what makes it even weird because I went to a new comic shop today and I was looking at his new wall and I was like, dude, this guy's shop sucks. I don't have anything.
Man, your shit's like, you only get shit from last week?
I'm like,
he's like,
hey,
it's Tuesday. You're like, every day's Friday to me, motherfucker. Don't give a shit.
So, no, I haven't done Blazing Defender show this week, but I did go see Brightburn today.
How was that? So fucking villainous Superman. How was that?
I'm all about some fucking evil Superman. Big crime syndicate guy from the DC universe. And they have like an evil Justice League, basically, is what the crime syndicate is. And it's as good. I don't know if they could have done it any better. I'll be honest. Like there's no good guy.
Wow.
So you can imagine the carnage that an evil kid Superboy could have if he wanted to. And that's basically what the movie is. It's exactly what you're going to go see. There's really not a whole lot of surprises, but at the very end, I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't seen it, but they do open the world up for another universe of these type of characters, and they introduce kind of two more. That is a very, very cool. And I seen a recent interview with Gunn, and they said, can we expect to see more from this dark universe? And he was like, you will definitely see more from this dark universe. So that's pretty cool and pretty inspiring. So I really dug it. You should go see it.
So Brightburn, is it a new story altogether? Or do you feel like it took took parts from other stories? Like obviously it's a Superman remake.
Yes.
But is it its own story, or is it kind of like, oh, we're gonna go off the bones of this?
Yeah, I definitely would say it's from the bones. The meat is a little different, but the bones, he crash lands in a ship. The ship can hurt him. He grows up in a loving family. But there is a little nuance that kind of changes the dynamic of Superman's character or this kid's character. So that's a little different. His upbringing was part Martha Kent, very much not like Jonathan Kent. So
what was their last name? I just want to know what the family's last name was. Was it Rent?
No.
Was it?
No, no,
it wasn't something that rhymes with Kent. Something like that.
What was it?
What's his name?
I think it was Baker. Because the kid's name is Bradley. And
wow, Bradley Baker, Clark Kent. Really?
Yes. Yes, there you go.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go one before. Clark, Brad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Kent sounds like it could be a C. Let's just throw in Bradley. Because, Peter Parker, right? So
Yeah.
it's just
Pepper Potts.
Pepper Potts. J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
That one was the most fucked up of all comic book names. I have been doing not a lot. I've got a baby on the way, so I'm freaking out I just freaked out today. That's not a good excuse. Memorial Day. Yeah. That's a good excuse, right?
Sure.
It was my anniversary, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Oh, it was belayed, but okay, that's cool. So my wife, our love story, right? I don't know if I've ever told you. Well, I've told Tank, and if you guys listen to the show, you know that Star Wars is our quote unquote like love story, but it's not really a love story. It just has to deal with when I proposed to her. So for our anniversary, she actually got me a book called The Courtship of Princess Leia. I was like, oh, that's so wonderful. Hold on. I'll show you the cover. Hold on. This is why I wasn't excited. Hold on.
Oh, God. It's got to be really girly looking.
Of course. I mean, I know his wife, so that it's definitely going to be.
Oh,
Hey.
damn.
Okay.
There's some tits there, though.
What is this? One of those dirty books? What is that?
If you're lucky.
Right? Excuse me. Did she go back to Jabba's hut?
Yeah.
Is that not a thing?
We can only
Han
hope.
Solo doesn't see
I
that.
don't think it's a thing.
Speaking of, I've seen that porn actually.
That book has won like a ton of awards and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard of it. But okay, so me being super nerdy, I was like, Kels, when was this published? And she's like, well, I don't know when it was published. I was like, no, I need to know. Was it like after 2014 or was it not? And she's like, well, I'm not sure. I just know that it had a whole. I was like, honey, it's not canon if it's after. This shit doesn't even mean shit if it was before 2014. It's a real fucking story. This is fan fiction. Okay, it's not sponsored by fucking Disney World. Are you fucking serious right now? What are you throwing me? Toilet paper? You want toilet paper my way? I don't know what this is. Yeah, so it was our paper anniversary, so she got that book because books have paper. But
Man.
it was a cute thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh shit! I've been reading Venom. I'm still super into Venom and how he ties into War of the Realm, which is basically D&D Marvel.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. Typical of award-written books. Thank you, Naru. Yeah, man, I haven't really done shit. But Naru did point out something that came out literally today, and apparently it's going live at the end of the week. So by the time you watch this, I think Swamp Thing is going to go live on the 31st.
it is.
On the DC universe. So by the time you can listen to our show, you're also going to be able to watch Swamp Thing. So did we all see the trailer for Swamp Thing?
Yes.
Nope.
Tank,
I know.
why?
I know. I'm sorry because I'm a slacker.
You're a fucking slacker, but I don't think you would like it anyway because
You guys
I
start.
think it's a long. Tank hates horror movies.
Oh, yeah. Then you probably won't
Yeah,
like it.
definitely not. Yeah, definitely not a horror movie. Whoa, holy shit!
Oh,
Phone's
this one is super fucked up.
What the hell?
Yeah.
My phone just exploded. Well, tell you what,
Super into it.
I'll watch it while you guys talk about it.
All right, Travis. So, what is your initial reaction to the Swamp Thing trailer?
Trailer. I was super pumped. I was a big fan, not a big fan of Swamp Thing growing up, but when I really loved Alan Moore run. What?
New 52 Swamp Thing?
Yes.
I like New 52 Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I
well,
think he
that
was
was
one of
Scott
the better
Snyder,
things.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
one of
Snyder.
the better things. Him and Animal Man, a lot of those weird characters got a good run in New 52.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. Snyder's run for me, and I'm a big Scott Snyder fan. his run was a little up and down for me, whereas I thought Alan Moore really kind of changed Swamp Thing. Like he made him kind of OP. Like before that, really Swamp Thing wasn't as OP till Alan Moore got a hold of him. And I've heard they're really going in that mystical direction with Swamp Thing and his abilities. And it's going to be very, again, Tank won't like this. It's going to be very, very horror specific. So I'm pumped. I mean, because I like that shit. I love Doom Patrol. I love Titans. DC streaming has been really, really good for me. And I don't see this being any different, especially after seeing the trailer.
Well, Naru said I give Swamp Thing a miss unless he sneaks up on me.
Not into horror? Are you not? Is Naru not?
No, he's not into horror either.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a miss then.
Well, so to me, the one thing that I loved about this trailer was look at Tank's face. Oh shit. That must be the tree through the mouth part.
Yeah.
That must be that part. But anyway, the thing that I love about this trailer was, and I went into it thinking this, and they did exactly that in the trailer, and I hope they kind of carry it out throughout the show. They don't really show full on Swamp Thing. Like that you catch glimpses, boom, 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 boom. But it's not, hey, here I am, check me out in my shitty CGI. Right. I don't know what the CGI is because we just got glimpses.
Right.
But when they focus on it, then I can tell if it's shitty or not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you just catch glimpses, that's what good horror movies do. And I'm hoping that's what Swamp Thing does, is when you see him, it's that one swift bam, there it is.
Right,
like, right across. And the trailer did that, and I loved the way the trailer came across. I loved it.
Yeah, I did too. And again, for everybody saying, and I've heard other people say that, like, man, I kind of ain't into the Swamp Thing. And I'm like, that's cool. I really wasn't into Swamp Thing either. But, and Jason, you read comics, so you know, and Tank, you're a D&D guy. And so I've said this on the show 1,000 times, good writing trumps everything. Right. So, and I know we're going to talk about Thrones here in a minute too. So, and I was doing
bad writing.
Yeah, right. That's what, it's like, oh, we're going to subvert expectations because you all are expecting this. Yeah, but you could have did it in a way that we never expected, and it's still been fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm the Titan show, Doom Patrol. If you have not seen Doom Patrol, that is the most batshit crazy show on TV, and I fucking love it. Like, if you'd have told me I would love a show like this, I'd been like, no way, it's not my cup of tea. I ain't with it. But again, they went from a Grant Morrison run of Doom Patrol, batshit crazy in the comics, and they actually made it work in another medium on TV, which is fantastic. I mean, I fucking love Doom Patrol. Have you seen that?
I haven't, because it looked 1,000% too cheesy for me. Now, with you saying that the writing is good, I'll look into it because I do like Titans.
Yes.
And I like Young Justice, but Doom Patrol was just like, right. I'll give it a shot, but
right. Yeah, it was good. Like, Cyborg still really looks wonky to me in Doom Patrol. I'm like, oh man, he looks so bad. But again, I just think the writing and the storytelling is just it's really good, and I find myself wanting to know more about these characters. And for a character you really, because I knew shit about Doom Patrol. I didn't go back and read the Grant Morrison run until after I watched like 3 episodes, and a buddy told me, he was like, dude, if you're digging it, you got to read Grant Morrison's run because they're taking shit exactly from him.
That's probably like fucking Deadly Class. I dug Deadly Class, so I went and I started picking up books.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's what's so good about all these TV shows, and now we're getting to get The Boys on Prime.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
I'm so fucking dude.
The Watchmen is coming out on HBO too, the new one.
Yeah. That I'm really curious about, because it's going to be like a sequel, right?
But it's completely separate from the movie.
It is, but Ozymandias is still in it. Like, that's Jeremy Irons' character. So, Gray.
The Mask, I watched the extended trailer on HBO.
Uh-huh.
It's not actually, like, they're everyone wears that mask.
Mhm.
There's like a whole group of them.
Yeah, Rorschach. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of weirdness going on. But Tank, I saw your face after you watched this trailer.
Yo,
What are your thoughts on this trailer?
fuck that trailer, man. God, I hate. I mean, it looks good. I just like I watched Stranger Things, and that's probably like the creepiest thing I've ever TV show I've ever tried to watch. And I mean, it was good, and it freaked me the hell out, and in places.
Dungeons and Dragons is why.
And so I'm this ain't for me.
You ain't with it, huh?
Nah.
You didn't like the dude in the house with the tree growing in his.
So what I can't do, I don't do jump scares. I can do creepy. I can do when she turns her alarm off and that hand comes up grabs. But no, I don't do
That little kid.
I don't do that. No, I don't do coming at me and that coming out of the screen and that whole. No, my problem is I get too into shows and movies and stuff like that, and so I'm fucking I am there, and so when that shit happens, no, I don't do that.
Love it.
Fuck that.
Love it.
So
yeah, I am
excited about.
I'm on board.
I am excited about the Watchmen TV show because that movie. It's not top 10, but I enjoyed that movie for what it was, and so I'm excited to see what they can do in a.
Sure.
Because they made it. They made it 3 hours long to fit into a movie. What can they do with 12 hours or 24 hours?
I'm super excited about the Watchmen movie, the show, not because I'm a huge fan of the Watchmen, but because I'm really tired of watching good Marvel stuff. So give me something else. Give me somebody who's not related to Captain America.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I like it all. And again, I feel like because the movies have been so popular, now we're getting these streaming services, we're getting all these TV shows, and they, I mean, really, other than the CW shows, they've all been really kind of good, pretty good.
Whoa. Come on, what about Arrow? Come on.
Fucking dude.
You guys don't watch
I
that anymore?
went back to Arrow. Arrow is the ex-girlfriend that was hot as fuck, but she was nuts, and I just kept going back. And every time I went back,
fucking crazy.
I woke up the next morning going, "What the fuck?"
Dude,
I love Stephen Amell. I love that he's bought in. And when he went to prison this last season or season before last, whatever, I was like, all right, that's it. Prison sounds cool. Let's go. I'll give it one more shot. About 4 episodes in, I went, this is the fucking weakest prison I've ever seen in my life.
No. So the prison scene plays out. Okay, so to me, I don't watch The Flash. I don't watch Legends. I don't watch anything else. But I have to. It's like my guilty pleasure of watching
Gotcha.
Arrow and Supernatural. I don't know why.
I like Supernatural.
I've only met one other adult man who watched Supernatural.
Oh, really?
Do you guys still watch it?
Fuck yeah, dude.
I watch it when it comes on Netflix.
I cried
yeah.
last episode. I cried.
Nice.
Dude, so those are my guilty pleasures, right? So now I've met 3 adult men that have watched that show. But I'm like, I don't care. It's terrible. I know Arrow is bad, and I'm just why do I keep when they introduced John Diggle as whatever the fuck, I don't even know what his fucking Spartan name is. Prometheus?
Spartan.
See, I don't even know his fucking name. But I'm like, what? That was such a fucking weak diet. He could have easily been.
He's literally wearing a welding helmet.
The Green Lantern. He easily could have done it.
Let me tell you, I need to say this about him really, really quick.
John Stewart, John Diggle. Come on.
I wish I could, but he and a buddy of mine met him at a comic convention here in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky. And he's a big dude. He's a good sized cat.
Diggle? Or,
yes, Diggle's a good sized dude. Oh, he's 2 of Amell. Amell's jacked and CrossFitter or whatever. But Diggle's a big dude. And we met him. His line wasn't that long, so we got him out of me. And dude, I felt bad because he wanted to talk to me and this guy I bet we talked to him for 20 minutes while there was a line.
Wow.
And he just wanted to talk about working out and I mean, dude, I loved him. We're like, all right, man, we'll see you later. Man. You know, oh, wait a minute. You know, we're like, holy shit, dude. And my buddy Sam was like, dude, I feel bad for everybody who was waiting to talk to him. But anyway, so I went back again because after we met him and the new season had started, it was one before jail. I was like, I gotta give him another shot, man. This dude's so cool, and I like Amel. I've always liked him. And it's the story, right? It's just so fucking bad. The acting's good. I don't mind the action scenes. I think they're decent for a CW show. The story was just so bad.
But like, okay, so in this season, it's so bad, but in this season, I love it because I don't know if you guys remember or not, like season 4, where they brought like Deathstroke and a couple other people in.
Sure.
Their quote unquote Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But they didn't call it that.
Right.
Deadshot.
This season, they said like, oh, they're bringing back Initiative, whatever, the Ghost Initiative.
Yeah.
And Mr. Terrific actually goes, you know, you're only saying that because it sounds cooler than Suicide Squad. And they're like, just stop. And I was like, like you guys are ripping off all of DC's stories and just.
That's pretty good though. See, shit like that, it would have kept me. Like I don't need much, especially from a CW show. I don't need much. But it just, man, I'm like you. Every time it was over, I'm like, well, I don't know why I watched this fucking show.
Yeah. But let's get into another show that we all said, why the fuck did we watch this show? Except Tank is still watching it.
I started season 6 last night.
Okay.
That's still a good one. So,
hey, real quick.
Yes.
Before we get into Thrones. Debo's asking if we had any thoughts on Batwoman.
Okay, so my thoughts on Batwoman, why? like I have no problem with Batwoman. I know that people are going to try and flip that and say, oh, well, you don't like, you know,
you're a fucking misogynist, dude.
Yeah, whatever. But why? Of all the Bat family characters,
yes,
why the fuck did you choose Batwoman, right? Like the actress, I think she's badass.
Dude, Ruby Rose is dope.
She's badass. Yeah. I have no problem with that. No fucking problem. My question is, why the fuck did you choose Batwoman?
I agree.
And then it's, okay, oh, well, you know, Bruce Wayne is gone, Batman's gone at the same time. Oh, well, don't question it. Like, the whole thing is just like, don't question why Batman's not here.
Right.
Okay, but we're gonna question it because
now, did you see the Elseworlds? Because I did watch those. Did you watch the Elseworlds, like the crossover event that they had in Supergirl Legend,
where the Flash and Arrow switched bodies?
Yes,
and they meet Batwoman. That was the intro of Batwoman. Yes, I saw that.
So what'd you think of that?
It was terrible. Like the whole thing was, well, you know, we noticed Bruce Wayne is gone. Batman, like, okay, Naru is saying it's the most removed from Batman, but if that is true, then all royalties of the word Batman should be removed. Like, he shouldn't even be in this quote-unquote Earth, right? Like, they're on Earth, whatever, Earth 2 or whatever. So if they go to this other one, Batman shouldn't even be a part of this Earth. Batwoman should be the sole primary person for Gotham. It shouldn't be this, oh, well, Bruce Wayne is this. It should be, okay, well, you're this, period. Like, there is no Batman.
I think that's what Titans did so well. It is one of my favorite things about Titans is they always kept Batman in the shadows. Like, there was very seldom an episode where they didn't reference Batman or you didn't see his influence somehow. Now, you never seen him, but he was always there. And if Batman wanted to keep an eye on you and didn't want to be seen, he wouldn't be. I thought that was one of the best things about Titans was how they used Batman but didn't use Batman.
So
go ahead, Tank.
So they kind of did something similar, and again, not the best show, but with Supergirl, right? The first season of Supergirl, there was no Superman anywhere.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they put Superman in it. I'm like, why? Why would you put, like, the whole point of this whole show is like the girl power stuff, which I'm down. I watched the first couple of seasons, thought it was good, but then you still put Superman in it. I didn't make any sense because then they like hinted at him and my cousin and she's messaging him and he's kind of there, kind of not, and then all of a sudden he's just there. Are they going to try and do that with Batman and Batwoman?
Well, they're never going to bring Batman in. They can never do Batman. Yeah, they can.
Now they did cast him for Titans.
Now, what's that?
They did cast Batman for Titans.
Well, yeah, because DC owns that. Now,
Sure, exactly.
So to me, it should have, if they wanted to do this whole Batwoman thing, do not make it seem like Batwoman is Batman's pawn. Like, oh, well, I do is, I'm here, I'm the person you get to see. Okay, let's back up 2 steps, right? Tank, you can be Supergirl. I'll be Green Arrow because I'm badass. And Travis, you're the Flash. In our world, we're A-list heroes, right? In the Arrowverse, we are A-list heroes. Now we're dealing with Batwoman, and we know about Batman. Right. You're a fucking B-lister, right? Like,
yeah, you are.
We're not gonna talk. Like, now in comics and whatever, it could be said that Arrow is, a B-lister, but in this world, he's an A-lister. He's not gonna waste his time. You're not gonna tell me that I'm not that important to talk to Batman. Like, you know who I am. I know who you are. This isn't going to happen.
I would have much rather them went the Cassandra Cain route than the route that they went. She was an orphan. Bruce took her in. He could have been gone. She was totally badass. She had that mute thing going on, which would have been a different aspect for a TV show, like.
That would have been sick.
That would have been sick. I mean, she's like one of the best hand-to-hand fighters in the fucking DC universe. I mean, she was taught by the girl that she taught Batman.
Canary? Oh.
No, the Argul. No. Oh, fuck.
The girl taught him?
Anyway.
It was a girl. Yeah. She's fucking dope.
Cassandra Cain when she moved to Bloodhaven. Hey, the only person out of Bloodhaven, Naru? Nightwing. Okay? That's all.
Didn't Arsenal, or what's his face? Didn't Red Arrow from the Arrowverse end up there?
And yeah, Roy Harper ended up in Bloodhaven and Arrowverse.
Oh, it's true, he did, yeah.
Roy Harper, he's a badass in that show. I will say that. Roy Harper has always been badass.
I'd like to see a spin-off of that.
I liked him. I liked him better than
so
Speedy.
Sick.
But I would rather see and you'll agree with me. I'd rather see an Oracle Nightwing. Like, if you want to do a Batgirl, female something, do Batgirl, who then becomes Oracle, and then we get Nightwing. Like,
ooh, yeah.
CW can't do Nightwing. Nightwing is that character, right? Like, the Arrow, like Green Arrow, he was a B-list. Like, that was a gimme.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They created this Arrowverse. Mr. Terrific was B-lister.
Yeah.
The whole
Flash wasn't
B-lister, right? Like, all these characters are, B or lower. Then you get the Flash, which I'm surprised they got the Flash, because he's an A-lister.
For sure.
He's a
But see, the Flash they could give up because then they'll just go, oh, yeah, Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, yeah, we can do whatever we want because Flashpoint. But Nightwing is that character where it's like, we could turn it into a movie, so we're not going to sell you the rights for that because we could make a ton of money off of it. But at the same time, it could be a TV show.
Sure.
I just want redemption for the Killing Joke movie that came out. That's really
God.
that's really all I want.
There's no redemption for that, man.
I know.
Speaking of redemption, let's just jump into this. Because over 1.5 million people have asked for redemption from HBO for season 8 of Game of Thrones. That is a real number from petition.com. They have started a petition for HBO to redo Game of Thrones season 8.
The most incompetent writers.
Yeah.
That's
the most
funny.
expensive season of television ever.
Mm-hmm.
In the history of television.
Yep.
Hey, that sucked. Let's redo it. Did I sign that petition? You bet your sweet ass I did. I've put how many hours have we put into Game of Thrones, Travis?
Oh, fuck. I mean,
at least
a decade. I mean,
well, 10 times 7.
Not even 10 times 7. Some are an hour and a half, 2 hour long episodes.
Oh, well, when you get to season 8, they are.
And I went back and rewatched it again from episode 1.
Oh, nice.
And then talking about it, right? Talking to other people about it. How much time has Game of Thrones taken out of our life? It's at least 100 hours.
Right.
At least 100. Right?
I agree.
So are the fans good in asking for a redo?
No, they're not. They're not. This petition shit, and you signed it, and that's fine. I would have signed it. I didn't. But
It's still going. You can sign it.
This is what I'll say. Thrones. Before I say anything, if you want to go to the Blazing Defender channel, I did a show with Dennis from Dennis Robinson from Botched. We had an episode discussion every show for the Game of Thrones season 8, and my thoughts are very, very well documented in that.
I wasn't invited.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I think I asked you. Did I not?
You did, and you never told me what time, you motherfucker.
Oh my God, dude.
I hate you.
All right,
I
children.
tell you what time.
Tank,
Anyway, back to it.
All right. So anyway, you fucking dick. So anyway, this is what I'll say. Thrones, no season ever ended like you wanted it to. No season ever ended like you wanted it to, like you thought it would. Now, we still loved all those seasons. Again, like we said earlier, writing everything.
George R.R. Martin, thank you very much.
And I feel like, Tank, since now you're in that realm of mid-season 5, season 6, season 7, he got out of the books, or the show, I should say, got out of the books.
Yeah.
That show really, really took off for me then. Okay? Because I don't know if it was because I knew everything that was going to happen. I mean, they changed some things subtly, but I knew everything that was going to happen. It was still really good. Red Wedding, still fantastic. I knew exactly what was going to happen. It was still fantastic, right? But season 6 and season 7 for me was my fucking favorite.
It was.
Guess who wrote those? Those guys did. They wrote those fucking seasons. They wrote those shows. They rushed season 8. HBO said, take all the money you want, do as many episodes as you want. And they said, nope, we're going to walk right over here to this basketball court that Star Wars plays on, and we're going to go play there. And that's what it boils down to. They wanted out. They've been doing this shit for almost 10 years. They rushed it. Am I pissed? Absolutely. But again, I still feel like characters got their arc. May not ended the way you wanted it to, but they still got their arc.
It was confusing as fuck.
Huh?
That arc ends like this. Arc drop.
Who's?
What the fuck is that? That's not an arc. That's a slope. That's
Jamie's arc ended. Danny's arc ended. John's arc ended. Arya's arc ended. Sansa, everybody. Bran. Everybody's arc came to a conclusion. You may not have liked it because I know I didn't, but it still ended.
Well, so here's my 2 cents, because it's over, right? And yes, you're right. The books, they left at about mid-season 5. The rest of season 5 was good. Season 6, great. The end of, well, it wasn't great. It was good. Sure. End of season 6, my favorite episode in Game of Thrones, period. Battle of the Bastards.
Right.
Hands down, the best episode of Game of Thrones ever. And that is up next to all the episodes of season 8, all of season 7, any of the other episodes. Battle of the Bastards, best episode. But when you go from that, right, and everybody's asking for it to be different, George R.R. Martin has already said that how the show ends is not how the books are going to end. So he's not going to write the same ending that they wrote, because that's not his tale. His tale is going to be something completely different. So if you want a different ending, read the book.
I don't know about that. Because what he said was, they asked him if they said, is your story going to end like the TV show? And he said, yes, no, maybe, a little bit, and yes. What the fuck does that mean? That was his exact answer. And it's but what he said was, there are several characters, tertiary characters, that the show really didn't give a lot of time to, that are going to have a bigger role in the ending than what the show did. So,
Take it for what it is.
Different.
George R.R. Martin is going to look at his baby, right? This is what he's known for, and this is what he will be known for.
Yes.
For the rest of the time.
Yes.
Just like Tolkien, right? Tolkien's baby was The Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Can you name any other books other than the Hobbit series that he wrote? He
No.
wrote a ton. George R.R. Martin will be remembered long after he's gone.
Sure.
For Game of Thrones, Fire and Ice. He has seen the negative backlash for season 8. He will not end the books this way. Period. That's his baby. He's going to be remembered.
And I do totally agree with you on that. And I even said that on the show because this is what I think. The books are done. At least the next one, because there's 2 more. So I know the next one it's fucking done. He says it's not bullshit. It's done. I'm going to see this, and he's going to go back to his manuscript and go, let's rewrite this right here. This was the least popular. Let's rewrite this. Why wouldn't you? You have an opportunity to do that. But now he did say this. These guys had 6 episodes to tell a story that I have 3,000 word manuscripts to finish. So it's honestly, to compare it is really not fair. Now, I say these guys, the showrunners, put themselves in that spot because HBO said, dude, blank check, motherfucker, do it right. And they were, nah, we're done. So all the backlash is well deserved.
So they ended a series, right, that has tons of fans. And arguably, it has more fans than the Star Wars movie they're going to write. I said arguably.
Yeah.
I will say.
Tough.
Yeah. Because Game of Thrones reached out to so many people. I remember that Naru and I used to work together on a sales floor. There were people that had no idea what Star Wars was, like arguing about what happened on Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Game of Thrones just grabbed so many people, and it took so many people. Now Star Wars has, like, it's if not the largest franchise.
It's got generations on Thrones.
Right.
So.
Right. It's got so many fans. It's got everything. But Game of Thrones had everyone talking.
I agree.
At one point, it had everyone talking.
The greatest water cooler show of all time.
Exactly. So, all right. So going from the greatest water cooler show of all time, right? I saw an article
talking
today.
about it. It's still the greatest water cooler show.
It's so good, right? Like, it's been done for 2 weeks now, and we're still talking about it.
And we're still mad.
We're going to be mad. We're going to be salty for days. So going from here, right? I saw an article today saying that some people would like to see a live-action Dungeons and Dragons show. Now, that got me thinking, and I was like, well, Game of Thrones is a lot like Dungeons and Dragons. So I Googled, did George R.R. Martin, what was Game of Thrones originally a Dungeons and Dragons thing? And yes, it was.
Sure.
George R.R. Martin and his group of friends have been playing Westeros in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign for 20 years.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
So he created it as a Dungeons and Dragons experience because his friends didn't want to play off the books anymore. Botched, if you're listening, Jamie Lannister. I could be yo Jamie Lannister. Just kidding. That guy was cool, but I don't agree with a lot of the shit he did.
Really? Never would have guessed.
I'll be you, Jon Snow. Seeing as how I have a brother and no sisters.
Sure. It's hard for you to relate, right?
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. So, so it was a Dungeons and Dragons experience, but my question is, do you think the world is ready for Dungeons and Dragons to be a show named Dungeons and Dragons?
So,
not Stranger Things, not Game of Thrones, Dungeons and Dragons.
So in that article, and so I'll start because I was kind of quiet for most of that. I think the answer is a resounding yes, and the reason I think that is in that article they talked about the show Critical Role on YouTube. They are building. They went from asking for $750,000 on Kickstarter to make a 2-part, like, total of 25-minute animated special. In 45 days, they raised $11 million, and now we're getting the 2-part special plus a 10-part animated season based on a small part of their first campaign that they did on YouTube.
Wow.
And that just shows that even and Critical Role, while it's probably the most popular, it's not the only one out there. They have
botched. Sorry.
I mean, hey, if they can do an $11 million Kickstarter, I mean, hey.
Botch knows that too. They're Critical Role fans,
right? And so we got Botched. I mean, there's they have other D&D show.
Was it Adventure? Not Adventure Time.
Adventure Zone.
Adventure Zone.
Adventure Zone's a big one. High Rollers is a big one from their.
I would say Adventure Zone is probably one of the bigger ones. Now, YouTube wise, Critical Role.
Right. So they're one of the biggest podcasts, like audio
Adventure
only.
Zone is the biggest podcast.
Like and not to mention just Dungeons and Dragons in general is going through a resurgence right now. So like if there's ever like a strike while the iron is hot moment, it is now.
Why do you think that is?
Partly because of the 5th edition rules that came out not too long ago. So with every edition leading up to 5th edition, it got more complicated and more rules and harder to get into it. And then 5th edition like broke down the entry barrier to like here's 5 or 6 classes, here's 5 or 6 races. You don't have to read, this 300-page book that I did because I'm a huge nerd. You can read literally your race, your class, have a general idea, and then play.
Dude, I've played Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, and I've only read how to play my class. I've never read a rule book.
And that's all. And that's all you need to get started. And I think
do you not? I mean, this is where I was going, and I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah,
I'm sure that definitely did help, but I think it's because of Thrones.
I'm sure Thrones helped.
Just because of Game of Thrones. Yeah. I think it's because right now in the world we're seeing a resurgence of all things like medieval. So it's not just Game of Thrones. So like you have the show Vikings from history.
Nightfall.
You have Nightfall. You have all of these other things that are medieval, right? But and video games are good at representing that, but not as good at. I mean, fuck it. We're in a millennial craze, right? Coffee shops are a thing. They want to get together, drink craft beer, and talk bullshit. I mean, that's Dungeons and Dragons.
And two, like, I mean, you can say what you want. It's cool to be a nerd now or whatever. Like, it's not, it's not that stigma is kind of slowly, like, obviously you're still going to have the assholes. Like, I've met nerds that are assholes. That's not going to change. But
exactly.
Right. But as a general rule, like, it's not like, because that's always the joke, right? The nerdiest game ever invented requires friends. And so, but now it's much easier to find people who are like, hey, I've never, because with consequences. So, like, if you find somebody like, oh, I don't act, or oh, I don't, I've never read a Lord of the Rings or anything like, it doesn't matter. It's so if you get friends, is friends sitting around the table bullshitting, and that's all it is. And that's what makes it so easy to get into.
Nehru said, "Are you describing Jace?"
Which part?
The asshole.
Oh, no, the asshole is definitely me.
100%.
I'll tell you this, and this is, I'll admit this on live TV. I don't care. I've been trying to play, and what's funny is I know all the botch guys. Dennis and I talk all the time. I've been trying to play D&D for 15 years now.
Nice.
Have never played. I even went so far as a guy in the fire department who used to be a dungeon master who's all into it. We went to his house. We created characters. I was a barbarian.
Of course.
I had to roll for all my shit. I filled out my sheets. And then he was, creating a dungeon for us, and it just never materialized. I mean, I've been trying to play. Like, and I just don't want to play with a lot of randos that I don't know. You know what I mean? I just kind of want to play with some guys that I know first.
Well, you son of a bitch! How weird is that? We were literally just talking about that today. Hey, let's kick up our Dungeons and Dragons again. But
okay, yeah, I'm in.
Weird. So, Tank, here's the question, because you obviously, out of the three of us, he's tried to play for 15 years, can't do it. I've played a couple times. Okay, so when you play with me, I am basically a barbarian.
Pretty
But
much.
he would also be a So, who do you think, if you had to pick one, who would be a better barbarian, me or Travis?
So I'm gonna say Travis, and the reason I say that is you think too much to be a barbarian. Travis is like, fuck it, smash.
Okay, so would I be more of like a paladin
or a fighter? Just like a fighter. Like you're like a weapons master, or even
cool? I could do that,
right. So like you because if you take there's a feat you can take where you can dual wield two-handed weapons. So you could be this badass like dual wielding like these big ass warhammers, but you're still like smart about it. Whereas like Travis, I'm gonna go into this like frenzied rage and just start swinging my great axe until everything's a bloody pile around me.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I know it, right?
So, but yes, for sure, I think barbarian, Travis, fighter would be Jason.
So, Travis, what are your thoughts on a Dungeons and Dragons TV show?
I mean, if you're asking me if I would watch, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch. But again, I'll say this because I feel like Game of Thrones, that's what they did so well to capture the world, was they told riveting stories. They had fantastic character development. My wife, which this is not a show that she would have watched in a million fucking years. She loved it. She didn't know who that was on the screen because there's so many characters to keep up with, but she knew who they were because of a scene that they did, and she really liked. You know what I mean? So
yes,
good writing trumps everything, right? So yeah, I think you can do a Dungeons and Dragons show. It's just got to be done right. You know what I mean? And you can't get too like 5th edition, I guess is what I'm saying. You can't get to 5th edition because you'll lose people. Like you can't have all these rules. You can't like magic users do this. And, that could convert into a show if somebody wanted to do that, and you'll lose people. It needs to be easy to follow. You just need to have really cool characters. Some people, need to identify with this guy, this girl, you know what I mean? This monster. And it could work. Absolutely. I'd be all in no matter what.
I think Critical Role has too many characters for a TV show. Like
you just got done watching Game of Thrones. Hang on. No. You just got done watching Game of Thrones, and you're going to complain about a show that has too many characters?
True. Game of Thrones had so many. And my wife was like, well, okay. And today I turned on Vikings, right? Because I love that show. But then as I'm watching Vikings, I'm like, because I haven't watched it for a while. So I'm like, oh shit, there are all these different characters. He's got like 8 wives. He's got like all these friends, his brother, like all these other guys. And I'm like, oh shit. So I think that Dungeons and Dragons would do extremely well as a TV show if they centered around like 4 heroes.
Well, and
right?
here's
like a dungeon party.
So to me, that would be one of the major differences is that, and I think it would help with that problem is, and my problem playing Dungeons and Dragons is I get my head stuck in the book a lot of times, and so people are like, oh, I have this crazy cool idea. My brain just doesn't go that direction first. But if you do a traditional Dungeons and Dragons, it is going to be a group who are together. And so even if you have 6 characters, they're not spread out across the world all doing these random ass things that kind of sort of have to do with each other. You have a group on a mission. Now, every character and the thing that Critical Role does so well, and it's funny, there's even interviews about how Critical Role is ruining Dungeons and Dragons, because Critical Role is so much story, and it's these professional voice actors that are doing it. People go into Dungeons and Dragons expecting that, and it's not going to be like that at your home table a lot of times. Sure. Totally different question or discussion, except for the fact that Matt Mercer, who's the DM, he writes the story for it, or like the bones for it. Is an incredible storyteller, but if you have these characters that are fully fleshed out, they all have relatable flaws. Every single character that plays at his table, they do, days and weeks of preparation for building these for when they build new characters. and they know exactly, and they have all these hidden motivations that slowly come out over the show, and that's how, and like you guys were saying, that's how you're going to bring people in. Interesting characters, interesting story, and maybe I'll kind of jump into the next thing. Before I got to the part in the article, because they didn't mention it, I think was it Black? No, it's a horror story that every season's like a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do that for a cool D&D. Is every season is a different different group, different mission, put it all in the same world, and then you can have like some like character crossover stuff, and maybe at the end of this show you have this balls out fight where all these characters that you haven't seen in the last 4 or 5 years come together for this balls out fight. I'm down. I think that would be a great way, because horror story is like the only one really doing it that way right now.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think kind of the way that Nicholas Eames did it for Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose, that would be so sick as as a TV show, but that's Dungeons and Dragons as well. And we've talked to him on the show about it, and he's like, yeah, it is Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that's what my books are.
Yep.
But he has one band, right? And then the next book, completely separate band.
Yep.
Sure.
Like, are they related?
Yes.
Somewhat. But
It's the same universe, so
Right.
Yeah, it's the same universe. So create like a Dungeons and Dragons universe, kind of like Marvel is doing,
right?
Or everyone else is trying to do. Literally everyone else. And yes, Naru, we saw the Godzilla thing earlier. Godzilla is also setting that up to Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah.
But everyone is setting up these universes. Set up a Dungeons and Dragons universe to where you have these 4 characters or a party of characters, do a mission. That's it. This party. Do a mission, that's it. Each season, be like, shit, you could even go like CW and do 20 episodes if you needed to, right? Like, I would watch that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you could build off what the last season did. You know what I mean? You could make reference to those characters somewhere. You know what I mean? Like to keep continuity of the universe, but
like Easter eggs, and that makes it fun for your audience, because we are the nerds that watch Marvel shit and go, ooh, did you see that? Did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you see that poster in the background? Yeah.
wanted posters.
Right.
The characters from last season.
Now,
like, oh shit. Okay.
Now, if you go a horror story, switching every season, I think without ever watching Horror Story, I think that's going to limit character development to an extent. So, Travis, for Critical Role, their first campaign, they played the same story for 5 years. And the last 3 of it, they played once a week for 4 hours every week. And it took them, even once they started streaming weekly, it took them 3 years to complete the story.
Well, but you have to look at it like this. It's not a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's a TV show.
Well,
so can you tell one adventure because we did it in 4 episodes?
It's two different. It's just 2 different mentalities. Either you build a campaign where you have this big overarching story that's going to take, the whole show, 7, 8 seasons, is this one big story with all these subplots, or you go horror story where you go, here's your adventuring party, right? Here's the adventure that they're going on, adventure done, new party.
Or you do it in-game status, where you have a whole bunch of different movies, seasons, so this party, this party, this party, and at the end you fight one big bad where all the parties come back together. Oh fuck, now you've got like 16 people fighting this big ass dragon.
And I'm down for that, but like I said, you're still gonna get, because every season you're having to build new character backstories,
right? So
you either have these 4 characters that you've lived and died with for 10 years, which is kind of what Game of Thrones did, right? Once they got done killing 3/4 of the cast, now you've got these 4 or 5 characters that you were literally living and dying with for 10 years. Or you build a bunch of different ones, in small segments, and then you just have and then it's more of like an action oriented. It's more about the story than the characters, right?
Yeah, right. And my question would be, and this is what hooked me in Thrones. It's what hooked me on Walking Dead. I like it. I love it when I watch a show and nobody's safe.
Sure.
Like They killed Sean Bean, fucking, the 7th episode of the first season. Sean Bean was the fucking headliner. He was the star of the fucking series, right? Oh no, we're gonna kill him.
Yep.
So, what Jason was saying, I really like that idea. I think that's cool. But instead of having 16 people at the end, let's have 7 people at the end. You know what I mean?
People are dying in the
Gonna fucking make it. You know what I mean?
You're still going to get connected to these characters, right? So it's like one season, like 12 episodes. We'll just go Netflix, right? 12 episodes. So 12 episodes, you're invested in that character.
If it's like a four-person party.
Yeah, if you only have 4 people in this party,
sure.
12 episodes, because like Daredevil.
Yep.
At the end of Daredevil season 1, you're invested in him.
True.
So you have 4 people over 12 episodes, like Stranger Things. If something happened to one of those little kids at the end of Stranger Things in season 1, you would have been like, fuck, man.
Yep.
Like,
yes.
Fuck, he was a good kid.
I will say,
I love that.
But Stranger Things has a great story.
It does. It does. I still think it'd have been a better story if they'd killed one of them.
Which, playing D&D, like, that is, like, the most fun you have in D&D is when somebody fucks up. So in my campaign, my dad almost killed 2 players like instantly because he was like, "I'm gonna throw this fireball out the window," except he rolled shit, and so half the fireball exploded in the room, and literally almost killed our halfling bard, like insta killed. No saving throws, no nothing. Like next game, he would have had to have showed up with a new character.
Oh my god!
It happens, and that is like we tell that story every time we sit down because this shit's hilarious, and that
needs to transfer over.
Exactly.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, like,
that's going to get people, because you got to think, man. If you're doing a TV show, you're doing a movie or whatever you're going to do, a fucking a YouTube series, you've got to get people vested that aren't D&D players, like me. Like, I dig it just because I like barbarians, I like magic, I like, ogres, monsters, I like dragons, I love shit like that. So that's what's always gotten. But there are a lot of people that don't. So you've got to create a show that's going to reach across the genre, so to speak. You've got to, get people vested, and then you kill this motherfucker. Yep. Some people are going to be pissed off, but some people are going to be like, holy fucking shit, they killed that guy, man. He was the best dude on the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as a D&D player, there's been papers and characters torn up, and it's devastating, but it's just like losing a big hand of blackjack. You come back, right? You know what I mean? It was fun. You still come back. You're trying to get your shit back, and you come back because you're fucking hooked now. And I think that that's the core, if you will. And I mean, I'm speaking to the guy that's never fucking played, but I think that is the idea that you can lose a character that you've had for 10 years. That is, you're playing with something there, right? So you can't just, throw a fireball and, just, willy-nilly, because there's consequences. And I think I dig that. I think that's D&D sounds fucking awesome to me, man. Like, there were some dudes in high school. I need to tell a story. There's some dudes in high school, I'll never forget. They were fucking nerds, which, even though I played
coming from a dude on the Nerds from Work podcast now.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude, I do a comic book show. I mean, fuck, dude, I'm right here with you. I fit in, right? But I played sports and shit, so I was still friends with these guys. And I remember they invited me over. They were going to play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, man, come check it out. I'm like, yeah, So I was just turned 16. I got my fucking car, go over there. I go in their backyard, and this one dude's his parents were fucking loaded. So they got this huge fucking backyard. They got the swimming pool. They got this big deck and everything. These motherfuckers are dressed up as their characters.
That's awesome.
They were cosplaying before fucking there was cosplay.
That's awesome.
And they're drinking beer and shit, and they're playing their D&D, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is what I'm talking about right here. When you're talking about just shooting shit with your buddies, yeah, man, let's take it to another level. You dress like your fucking character. You were going to bring ale and shit, you know what I mean? And I'll never forget, one of the dudes wanted to bang a barmaid. So the dungeon master made him roll.
Hell yeah.
Because he had like a vitality score, right?
What else do you do when you're
Motherfucker rolled
17
like
horny and playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're fucking nerds. I mean, what else we got to do, right? So they fucking roll, and his dick didn't get hard enough to bang the barmaid. So, and I just remember thinking that was the coolest fucking shit, dude. So, yeah. If y'all play, I'm in. Just to let you know. I might be on camera and fucking full fucking barbarian shit.
Let's
Full
fucking go.
on barbarian.
Full on fucking barbarian.
I'm so down.
So my 2 cents is I think that Game of Thrones set the stage for something else to take its place. Now,
Totally agree.
Now, that being said, I don't think Dungeons & Dragons is going to be it. Because Dungeons & Dragons, the name, carries a certain phobia,
Stigma.
right?
Stigma. Yeah.
It's got a stigma to it where
Sure.
people are like, So it's not going to carry the same weight ever as Game of Thrones. Ever. But yes, I agree. That it's great. The Kickstarter for Critical Role made it so far. They did so much. And I know Tank and my brother both added to that Kickstarter because they both have put hours and hours and hours into Critical Role. But it's got that stigma where it's never going to be water cooler talk because Dungeons and Dragons isn't. Like, it's not, you don't go to work and go, hey guys, guess what happened in Dungeons and Dragons this weekend?
So,
Like, Tank, your water cooler is at your house and your wife also plays. So, yes, of course it's water cooler talk at your house.
but what if you didn't call it Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. If it's labeled Dungeons and Dragons, if it says Dungeons and Dragons Tale, okay, so there's a book. I don't remember the name of the book now, but the guy is a dark elf, and the book series are called Neverwinter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Yeah.
So if the show was called Neverwinter, already too close to Game of Thrones, like already. Robert's Rebellion, Blood Moon?
Yeah, that's the prequel that they're doing.
Oh yeah.
It's the Battle of the Trident.
So many.
When Robert, when Cersei said the red keeps never falling. Yeah, it kind of did. Robert fucking did it. So
Yeah.
Robert and Ned
I
Stark.
must say Stark, yeah.
right,
Yeah, but Robert Baratheon came
Robert
with
killed
a fucking
Rhaegar.
hammer.
So once he killed Rhaegar at the Battle of the Trident, it was fucking.
Yo, I don't care if Tank says I'm a fighter and not a barbarian. Warhammers, hands down,
You can be
my favorite
Fuck
fucking medieval weapon.
you can use you can be a
Smashing heads with a hammer.
dude.
If you guys want to see me smash heads with a hammer, we actually have a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that we did with Chris Jackson where I ride a fucking dragon. You saw it in the
It
intro.
was in the intro.
I ride a fucking dragon, and I'm smashing heads with a fucking hammer.
Yep.
Yo,
Holy shit,
that D&D campaign was tight.
It was fun.
So I don't think that it could be labeled Dungeons and Dragons, but if they changed it and it was just says a Dungeons and Dragons tale, like Rogue One, a Star Wars tale, right? Like a D&D campaign or a D&D tale, I think that would work. But it can't just be called Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
That being said, Amazon does already have the script and casting done for a Lord of the Rings TV show.
Really?
So Amazon Prime has an now we don't know when it's coming out.
Yeah.
We do know that they have casted and they do have a script.
Are they retelling the stories or what?
It's a completely new story. Completely new.
Do we know if it's before or after Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
That's weird. I have to look that up. I didn't know anything about that.
Through the children of Earth.
You're saying about the story of the fallen man through the children of Earth.
Through the children.
That's one thing. So, side Game of Thrones note, I was fucking pissed because at the end of season 4, Bran gets to the children, right? And then all of season 5, no Bran. What the fuck? That pissed me off. Thank God he's back.
a lot of brand. You're gonna get a lot of brand coming
I figure, I'm sure. I'm already getting a little bit in season 6, but I was like, fuck,
Sure.
really? A whole season? Damn. Sorry.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck him and the fucking crippled ass wheelchair he rode in on. Why do you think I came all this way? Fuck you, Bran.
Yeah, it was a little hard to take.
So, I think that the world is ready, but just not for it to be Dungeons and Dragons. I think they're ready for another medieval era show, and it will do well. It's just got to hit while the iron's hot, like Tank said.
I just want, yeah, I mean, again, I'll watch because I love that shit, but I want a John Ghost Tormund spinoff. I want an Arya spinoff, Sailing West. Those are the fucking shows that I want right now. I mean, and they're not planning on fucking doing any of them.
No.
So that's what fucking sucks. Is like, yeah, you know, spoiler alert, Tank. I mean, you know, I know you're just still watching, but you know, there are
Plug his
things.
ear holes.
What's that?
I told Tank, plug his ear holes.
Yeah. And, you know, I won't give anything away, but like, I want to see those things. And I just feel like, you know, I don't know if the actors are just fucking done. Obviously, the showrunners are. But I mean, there's got to be some people out there like, hey, no, right here. I'll take that fucking show. I'll show run that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't have to do it immediately following the end of the show. You know, they could be like Jon Snow, Ghost, and Tormund 10 years later. Someone completely different. Not Kit Harington.
I don't want that.
No, but I'm saying like
I don't want that either.
Now, to me, they don't need to touch anything with Game of Thrones right now. They don't even need to tell Robert's story right now. They need to wait because even if Dungeons and Dragons dropped today, let's say there was a script and everything was written and you know, we need to strike while the iron's hot. You wait 1 year because everyone is so pissed right now. Like the whole world is pissed, and no one would watch it. So if you dropped a show right now and you're like, "Oh, this is it," the diehards would watch it, but your general populace is not going to watch it because they are still so pissed off and let down from Game of Thrones that they're not going to jump in. Now, 1 year from now, when the pain has worn off a little bit, and they're like, "Damn." It's about the time that Game of Thrones would be coming out.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I say that with the X-Men franchise. I hope Marvel does nothing after this Dark Phoenix fucking turd they're about to give us. I don't.
It has Sansa, though.
What's that?
It has Sansa.
It does. And I hate that. I think
Sansa.
she's a great Jean Grey. I just hate that she got with it when Sony still had it. I hope they do nothing with the X-Men for 3 or 4 years. Let us rinse that fucking taste out of our mouth. Yep. And then when Marvel finally gets it and it's going to be done right, recast everybody, give us new fucking stories, and hopefully we'll not remember this shit. I do agree to what you're saying to a certain extent. I'm a diehard. So if they started a show next season, I watched Robert Baratheon. I loved Robert Baratheon. I fucking loved it. So I'm all about seeing that prequel show. I mean, I'm all about it.
If it came out right now, you would jump on.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
See, and I think I would too because I am a diehard Game of Thrones fan.
I am too.
But I can tell you right now, my wife wouldn't. Because my wife watched it and she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Can we just turn it off?" And I was like, "No, we have to finish this episode." She's like, "I don't really want to." So if a new season came out today, she would go, "Nah, you can watch that by yourself." Now, if a year from now it comes out, she would go, "Well, I don't really remember too much." So, okay, yeah, I remember I did like Game of Thrones. Let's watch it. So they need to wait
more off a little bit.
They're going to gain more fish with a bigger net if they wait a year.
I agree.
It's an interesting topic. I think the biggest draw, and I think if they do a Dungeons and Dragons TV show, it's going to be a slow burn because I know everybody was talking about even because I don't think Game of Thrones took off at the very beginning. I think it took a season or two for Game of Thrones.
I jumped in at season 3.
That's what I'm saying. So I think even if it's named Dungeons and Dragons, I think it would end up being that same pattern where the diehards, like huge nerds like us, are like, hear Dungeons and Dragons and jump on it immediately. We're gonna start talking to our non-nerdy friends about this, like the show that has great characters and great writing, assumptions, then so 3 seasons in, now you've got millions of people watching it. So I think even if you use the Dungeons and Dragons name, I think they could do the same thing Game of Thrones did.
Yo, just real quick, because I'm messing around with it because I've been thinking Dungeons and Dragons all day because this was our topic. After we played our game with Chris Jackson, who actually writes for Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay.
Well, he writes for Pathfinder, not Dungeons and Dragons.
I thought he did something for Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't think so. I think it's just on Pathfinder.
I wrote a dragon, and then I bought this die. I don't know if you can see it. It's got dragons.
That's dope.
To represent the time that I wrote a fucking dragon in to kill this badass thing. But yeah, I'm super stoked. Just to even think like this could be a topic nowadays. Like I'm like Travis. I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons for so long, it just never worked out for me. Like my brother started playing. Tank and I actually played our first game together, and then it kind of blew up for Tank because he's got so many people around him that want to play. And for me, I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, so I have to play.
He lives in that world, though, too.
What's that?
He lives in that world.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Tank grabbed onto it and just kind of ran with it. But I'm super excited because
I built a table.
Yeah, you did. It's a badass table. Hey, I built boxes though.
Yeah, we built for our home game. We built this table that has like the middle sunken in. It has dice trays built in. It's got chargers built in for your phones. It's got cup holders in it, and like we did this whole thing so that like our players would all have somewhere to like sit and play every.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Like a card table, but for D&D.
And so it has things that you can go on the top that you can play cards and games on it also. So
That's fucking awesome, man.
Too bad you're gonna be staying at the giant size team up house during Dragon Con. Oh well.
45 minutes from Atlanta. We'll put you up.
Why do I have to stay with him again? Sorry, Dennis. I'm out.
We'll
Got
just
extra bed, motherfucker.
Crew from Botched. We'll just fuck Tank's table up in one night.
Just real quick, because I listened to him on the Nerdist podcast, and I'm a big fan of Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he's like one of the biggest fucking D&D players there is, I think. He has his own clothing line, D&D clothing line.
Yep.
All of his buddies come over on Saturdays to play, and like, what's his name? Sofia Vergara. She fucking like gives them sandwiches and gets them beer and shit while they play. Is that not like the best D&D game of all time?
So many celebrities play D&D. Like so everyone can say like, yeah, D&D's. And see, this is the way that I think Dungeons and Dragons could work if it's a television show. If they get the big names supporting it, right? Like Terry Crews.
Yep.
Terry Crews plays Dungeons and Dragons. The redheaded chick from Daredevil. She hosts her own show now on Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
Yep.
She is. Yeah, she's a dungeon master.
She did a guest spot on Critical Role, and so Critical Role broke off to doing their own network, and so she has a show on the network that they left that is like a D&D inspired, tabletop. And then Charlie Cox, Marvel's Daredevil, he was on the show. Kevin Smith was on the show. So he's played. So yeah, there's tons of
Stephen Colbert.
Yep.
Plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Red Nose Day. Him and Matt Mercer from Critical Role did a one-on-one.
There's so many huge celebrities. So cool. Vin Diesel is like one of the biggest named Dungeons and Dragons celebrities.
Who?
Like Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
He used to play it after he would bounce at the clubs. They would go play Dungeons and Dragons.
He's done stuff with Matt Mercer too.
He said that it helped him with his voice acting.
Sure.
And to get into the minds of other characters. So like
Patton Oswalt.
To help him, Patton Oswalt. Everyone knew that one. So there are so many people that play, and if they got that kind of support, where it's like, Sophia, right, is like, oh, my husband plays, or whatever she says, right? But
it's so much hotter when she says it.
Yeah,
I mean, I was close, right? But if they had big names supporting it in the commercials, like, hey, check out this show from Dungeons and Dragons, blah blah blah. Now all of these kids would be like, oh, well, I like their show.
The Big Show did play the game with the Dungeons and Dragons company on a live stream they did last year. So one of the biggest names in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And that was cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just saying, I think it could work, but hey, that's about it for our topic. And I think we all think that Game of Thrones has set something up for Dungeons and Dragons-esque shows to take its place, or even Dungeons and Dragons. So, hey, Tank, tell them where to find you.
Yep, you guys can find me all over the internet at the Caped Critic. Make sure we're talking about Dragon. We'll be at DragonCon in September. Before that, we'll be at Atlanta Comic Con in July. So make sure if you're in the Atlanta area, come check us out.
Yeah, and I'm Houdini0333. You guys can find me on the old tweet machine and Instagram. Look for a whole bunch of stuff coming from us. You heard it on this episode. We're actually going to try and get a D&D campaign up and running. So now we've got to find that DM that we lost.
He's out there somewhere.
I think he's fucking dead. But if he's dead, we're just going to have to find a new one. And it seems to me that I make a whole bunch of friends that are authors. So if you guys want Nick Eames or Chris Jackson to get back on and run a game for us, let us know.
Nick Eames DM story would be fucking dope.
Nick Eames, if you guys want Nick Eames to be a dungeon master for the Nerds from Work and the Blazing Defender report,
bring him in.
Yo, shit, we might even be able to get Phil Keating.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Maybe. Or Dennis from Botched.
Either one of them.
With a celebrity author? Are you fucking kidding me?
Hell yeah.
That would be dope. So if you guys want to see that shit, please let us know. Check us out on TheNerdsFromWork.com. Naru hits that shit up with Naru's Corner, and he puts all of our new stuff on there. He's also in charge of our social media, so if it sucks, let him know. But check us out on Patreon.com/TheNerdsFromWork. Hey, to support us, to keep us drinking, to keep our alcoholism going, and words that are totally made up that I just make up from my own dictionary, hey, support us. It's cheaper than a fucking, Burrito Supreme? It's 99 cents. Do it. So, hey, Travis, thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah, man.
Brandon's fucking dead, I think. I'm pretty sure Brandon's dead. And Naru has the butt flu. So, thank you for filling in. Tell them where they can find your shit.
Yeah, man. Blazing Defender Report, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I have a live show on Twitch. And I will be doing, Dennis Robinson and I will be doing Good Omens. That's going to be an Amazon Prime show. We're going to start that show.
Wow,
bro. We're going to be doing the Swamp Thing show as well, along with
you and Dennis and wow, dude.
What's up?
Jason feels left out. He's crying about it.
Which one you want to do? You tell me. You want to do Watchmen? You want to do Watchmen with me? Where are you at, Jay? Come back.
Fucking bounced.
Come back, Jay. Come back.
Tell them where they can find you, buddy.
Which one you want to do? You want to do?
It doesn't matter. I was just messing with you, man.
No, I mean I need a co-host. What do you want?
Hey, Naru's on the crapper right now. Hey, let's do whichever one you're not doing with Dennis, or we can all jump on one together. I don't know, whichever ones we watch.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get together after this. I might or might not have your phone number.
So keep looking at the Facebook page and the Instagram for when all that's coming up. I put some promo stuff out, usually a couple of days before because my schedule's kind of weird. So just smash that notification button on the Twitch page, and you'll get a notification every time I go live. And it'll be something nerd related, so you'll probably dig it. So, but thanks again for having me, guys. Always love doing this show. It's always a really good conversation. I dig it.
Hell yeah.
Or it's not, and you just like to blow smoke up our ass. But either way, we like it.
We'll take it.
We dig it. Hey, from all of us here at the workplace, peace.
Peace.